Hey, everybody. I'm Taylor Ferber.
And I'm Joe Francis, and this is Undressed.
Joe, we're going to be talking about something today that we may or may not know a thing or two about. I don't know. I mean,
Really?
I have a liking to older men. I don't know the last time you dated or hooked up with someone older than 30. So who better than we to talk about age gaps?
Yes. I mean, I don't think those are fair assessments. Because
No?
I would definitely I definitely have dated women over 30. That's not fair. But
When's the last time?
we currently when's the last time? Probably, quite a while ago. Okay, I'm not gonna say. Maybe I was 30. No, I'm just kidding.
Quite a while being never, or
I was 31. No, I'm just kidding.
Quite a while. My last lifetime, actually.
No, maybe 10 years ago. Like, in all fairness, maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, there are current age gaps between, right now, yes, I do have an age gap with, and a full disclosure with the girl I'm dating. You, lovely princess,
Interesting choice
Pink,
of words.
Princess Pink.
We're just doing our
I
hyper
think,
feminine and
yeah.
masculine today with our wardrobe.
You like the age gap too. So what is your age gap with your boyfriend?
I will be transparent. It is almost double. It is about 28 years. So, like I said, we are
I'm
the
far
authority.
less than that. See, I'm far less than that. But I think we should tell everybody.
How big is yours?
while
Make
we're
the math.
today-
Come on, math. My favorite
Come on,
mathematician in
no,
black.
you're not a mathematician. That's why I know I can get away with that. And then boom, we're off. We want to talk about
no idea
why are
what
we
I have in store for you today.
I want to talk about Bill Belichick. Is what I want.
I do too, but you're going to be eating your words. You're going to be eating your words. Well, case in point.
Just because you can't do math doesn't make me any. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
I'm going to
do math fast on the air,
I'm going to spit some math. I'm going to spit some math, but I'm thinking, and I think the audience thinks.
You need your phone, don't you?
You don't know math because you can't even tell us the math of your current age gap. Do you need to tally? Do you need to do the fingers? Do you need your phone?
No, I know the number. No, I do.
What's it going to be?
Well,
is it between 20? Is it 20 to 25 years? 25 to 30 years?
25 to 30 years. Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the same ballpark. Okay, I show you mine if you show me yours, except plot twist, Taylor's the only one to show here. Okay, so we're high five, Joe. We're
deal.
in the same.
We're both biased people having a Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson discussion. So we're incredibly biased because you like older men, right? Admittingly, and I like younger women along with the rest of men.
Well, I was going to say along with most of the rest of women.
I would say just being younger doesn't make the person attractive to me. There's plenty of young women who I would not date. Let's be absolutely clear, and I'm sure there's plenty of older men you would not even look at. So
let's be clear. You're saying they have to be young and hot. They can't just be young. Period.
Well, what do you talk about? I mean, you talk about on the other shows that they can't have dad bod, so they have to work out.
No, absolutely, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
so
just good. I do like an older, refined, worldly, wise, has his stuff going on, has his shit together gentleman, as I think most women do. So, Joe, I wouldn't say we're just authority figures. Maybe we are just the quintessential man and women here speaking for all of humankind today. I mean, it's the least we can do. It's the least we can do.
And you know what? And to watch and to go through all of this and I know, like, we're going to get into that. You're going to get into Bill Belichick. But let's talk about it. And let's start talking about it because, like,
let's do it.
I think he is getting unfairly, like, torpedoed and criticized in the media and by the media. And I think she is too. And I've been a target of that before. So I definitely understand what it's like to be in their position. I mean, they are not, like, just because, look,
there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here.
Let's go ahead and unpack it first.
Let's set the table. I'm going to unpack after, as I mentioned, unpacking our perfectly on point wardrobe today. Look at you looking hyper masculine in the black, me with the pink, and just playing into all this. Like I said, speaking for all men and women, it's what we're here to do. So this has caused quite a tizzy right now, Joe, because Bill Belichick I think he is the winningest NFL coach of all time, formerly of the
Yeah, he's big
That's
time.
my team.
I mean, this
big,
is
big
like,
time.
yeah.
He is 72 years old, ultra famous, right? Again, arguably one of the famous NFL coaches in history. And his girlfriend, Jordan, apparently not Jordan, Jordan Hudson, is 24 years his junior. So this story is so fascinating. And as you said, Joe, it touches on a lot of things here in addition to age gaps. We're going to get into, first of all, the art and controversy of the age gap, but especially what's made this so controversial. And to your point, the media spin of it all, which you and I have both been on the brunt of. So there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to undress. So let's just give the people a show and take our clothes off. So that's basically it. And
let's undress it.
Let's undress it. Okay, first things first, before we get into why I want to leave the people wanting more, just like dating, Joe, you be like a little mystery. You got to like leave the breadcrumbs. So before we get into why this is on-set picnic table of dysfunction that we have today.
That's how you treat our audience. I'm going to give you breadcrumbs. Like, no, we give our audience, Taylor, come on. We always deliver. We give our audience like the meat.
We're going to give them the meat, but I'm saying, listen, I know how to make every man, even some women, wrapped around my finger, coming back wanting more. Keeping them wanting more, and that's just what I'm going to do with this app.
Okay,
you got to leave it. Yeah. So, all right. First of all, we obviously have personal experiences with this.
Correct.
And culturally, age gaps have always been, at least in the States, a little bit taboo because it's like, there's the gold digger trope. There's the like, what are their intentions? And both parties kind of get shit. And I would argue, I don't know if it's superficiality at its finest, but older men, I don't know, maybe perhaps like yourself, it's like going for the hot young girl. And men like yourself may go, oh, well, they just, that's why I said perhaps.
I'm not that much older than you.
I said perhaps, okay. But they may be like, oh, she's a gold digger. She just wants money. And I would argue, well, if you just want them because they're young and hot, so what if they just want that, you're secure and have money? Okay, an eye for an eye. Like, so what?
So I agree and disagree. Because I think it can be all those ways. But I think generally, like, you can attract, like you say, you're attracted to an older man and you didn't mention like financial stability as part of that. I guess, somebody with their shit together is how you described it. So like you can, and your boyfriend has a great body, so he works out. You have your criteria, so you can be attracted to that, right? And I think certain people are attracted to older men. I mean, certain women, obviously, if dated, are a lot younger than I am, and most of them have told me that. So I really don't fit like that category because, like, I have a younger personality and
I see.
And a younger energy. I don't know if you've noticed.
So but your vivaciousness is what attracts you to younger women, not at all having to do with why? Okay, Joe.
No, I'm getting to this. Hold on.
Why do you like younger women?
Why?
Go
ahead.
Okay,
thank you. Okay, I'll just answer. Thank you. I'll be interrogated on my own show by my co-host.
I did not sign up for this.
Yeah. I mean, I could, if I want to do this, I could just get a girlfriend. So, okay. So here you go.
Well, I'm your live-in show girlfriend, so you can't escape us.
Okay, Your Honor. What's the question pending?
I'd be a hot judge, though, right? Judge Judy.
Okay. Why do I like younger women? Well, yes. Taylor, because I'm the only one here on trial for liking younger women. I will answer for the rest of all mankind.
We're waiting. Hurry up, your girlfriend's going to get older. TikTok.
Yeah, I know.
You can't be having that, Joe, or eggs are going to dry up.
Fertility. I mean, honestly, men are attracted to younger women because, women are basically their most fertile in their teens to 18 to 30, right? And then it sort of dries up from there, right? Fertility-wise, I'm not saying women get bad after 30, okay? I'm not telling you that. So oh God, look at that. I knew that. See, you're going to get all mad because I'm saying this right now, and then you're going to come after me, but it's okay, with a vengeance, but it's okay. But listen, I'm telling you, I'm not trying to, like, who's that black guy that got canceled? The little gay one from CNN.
Don Lemon
interviewed me. Don Lemon.
Right, when
Don
he was
Lemon,
against Nikki Haley, saying she's basically old,
correct,
washed up. Right, he was
what do you say?
misogynistic. It was a tad misogynistic. Yes, he's basically like
a tad misogynistic.
She's good about Nikki Haley.
Women over 30 are useless, right? And which was the whole demographic. I mean, he interviewed me, and honestly, I have very little great things to say about Don Lemon. Interviewed me several times.
Oh, he's the worst.
That's it. He's the worst. But I am not going to say that, okay? And like, I don't think women are useless after 30. But if you want to look at just fertility, like, those things don't work the same as they do at 20, 25.
That's fair.
And 30. That changes, okay? That is a natural cycle for a woman, and there's nothing to be ashamed by that. There's nothing to be cautious by that. But men have evolved to become more attracted to younger women, to younger women who are more in their fertile years because of that natural action. It's a natural, seriously, it's a biological attraction, I believe, or most men wouldn't be attracted to younger women. And that seems to be the case almost across the board, except in France, apparently, with the
Macron. That is for another day. I got Joe on that bandwagon.
That's another show.
Joe, guess what?
That's another show.
Guess what? So Christmas came early because even though I was busting your balls like Judge Judy, I have a little present for you. And guess what I found in my tits? Some stats to back up what you're saying.
Oh my God.
So check this out. Check this out. Okay. As much as we can drag and knock and roast, it is a little bit of a cliche. And I know that it's ironic because I am in a relationship with a significant age gap. However, our boy David Buss in '89, he was a leading evolutionary psychologist. He, Joe, did a vast, and it was a rather groundbreaking study. Landmark study where he surveyed 10,000 participants, and it was over nearly 40 cultures to see what was going on with all this and to see, is there some merit in this other than the trope of the gold digging girl or the guy just wanting a hot young girl, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out that he basically found exactly what you're saying. So see, I have your back in that that is the appeal of younger women, in that they are, fertile and young and reproductivity and all this. And for older men, the appeal for younger women is, he says things like, again, like stability, resources, finances, like what you're talking about. I would take it a step further. And for me personally, again, I like the cultured wisdom, has been around, bring something to the table. I don't want a guy playing his Nintendo, his balls is barely dropped, right? Like, I want no part of that. I want no part of that girl guy, even in my 20s. Even in my 20s, I was like, I want no part of this.
Old, geriatric old, pushing in a wheelchair.
Exactly.
We're not talking, we're talking about older than they are.
Yes. So there you go. And then, but there is, okay, let me ask you this. Do you feel like because you do date younger girls. I obviously have come across some challenges, even with people in my orbit, about being with someone so much older. So I'm sure you get judged or shit for it, right?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. But I don't care. But on the other hand, she has to probably get stuff for it too, to get shit for it. So I don't mind taking the shit. Who cares? As long as you like each other, that, and you have common grounds and stuff like that. I wouldn't date a really immature 20-year-old or 21-year-old or 22-year-old. I just wouldn't. It depends.
But on the flip side, Joe, you
have to be able to hang, and then I'm going to tell you the other part, and then Taylor, you'll agree, and then you have to have chemistry and be able to have the sex part. Because if you don't have the sex part, then this is undressed, right? Then it's not, fun. So
they need to go hand in hand. You can go and have a great philosophical, intellectual conversations with someone, but if you can't, if you want to put a paper bag over their head, what good does that do in a relationship? And then if it's only for fucks, that gets old too, right? So I see how they kind of go hand in hand. That may have been a little bit of a harsh delivery, but whenever you were all thinking it. But Joe, what is it about? Because you have on the show joked and talked about women who just pursue you and they just want money and all this. So what would you go say it's like a cougar?
Have I mentioned?
I know this is new information. Would you go for say a rich cougar? Say she's in her 50s or something. So what's so wrong with that? Yay or nay to that?
Me personally,
yes, you Joe Francis right now today.
like, like I
His brain is
like
broken.
Sex in the City, Cougar. I don't know.
Yeah,
What are you
sure,
defining?
sure, yes, sure.
Like in her
Yes.
80s? Like where are they?
Wait.
Where is the
Sex
cougar
in
limit?
the
I
City
don't
is
know.
your 80s? You
I don't
put Sex
know.
in the City in a nursing home.
I mean, those
Okay.
women are like in their like at least 60, late 60s, 70s, right? In the Sex in the City women. I'm not in the
They're
show.
like in their 40s, 50s. That is a
No,
far cry from 80.
not in the show now.
No, they're still like, I don't know, they're probably in their 60s.
Okay, late 60s, yeah, probably. Okay, so no,
Well, that answers that. You know what, ladies? You saw all you needed
hold
to
on,
see with Joe's
hold
brain
on,
melting at the
hold on.
thought.
In the show days, yes,
Yeah, in the show
totally
days.
different deal. Yeah,
Okay.
different age. They were like in their 30s and 40s, which was fun. Like I don't mind as long as I like the person too. But if they don't bring a young energy, which I have, to the relationship, and you do too, and I know that, and if they don't bring that young energy to the relationship, and then I'm not attracted to it either. Like I love that too, and
So
there's
unlike Don
that I have to
Lemon,
offer with knowledge.
unlike Don Lemon, you're saying they do still have much to offer the world. I just may not want to bone them sexually, is what you're saying.
No,
how do you differ
as
from
much
a Don Lemon? Because let's put the cat footnote as much.
I mean, Don Lemon is gay, and he stupidly he interviewed Elon Musk and got fired from his best job ever. So,
I know, what a dumb thing. That's a whole other.
What an idiot!
Shit the bed on that opportunity.
Yeah,
someone, but
what an idiot.
Joe, because it's a huge thing, especially in Hollywood, where older women are like, oh, we're always like thrown under the bus. We're shriveled up and dry and no one wants to work with us. So to see older women on screen and talking about their stories and being hot is so great. And so I'm asking you, the everyman, what's the line? What's the cutoff? It's like, if it is a super hot 50-year-old.
Well, but
does that count?
Are you saying this is just me, or are we talking about Leonardo DiCaprio, who's my age, right? Leonardo DiCaprio,
just you, Joe.
Fair enough, is my age, and he will not date anyone over 25, right? Especially during the P. Diddy trial where he has to distract from testifying. He got engaged. I love that. The best legal strategy ever. I'm engaged. I'm off.
Wow.
Finally. All it took was the P. Diddy trial. Okay, so yeah, I mean, is there a limit? There's not a limit in my mind, Taylor, but definitely, I would say that most guys follow the French formula for this. Okay, the girl you're supposed to be with, they say most men half your age plus 7, and that's the French formula, right? That's what, except for the Macrons. Apparently, the VAT formula is a lot different in more ways than
one. No.
But remember on that, and you have to get back to that. But they've got to both be into it, right? I think, right?
He's
got to be into trannies.
That's the exception. Yeah, that is another story. That's her first.
He's definitely a tranny, and he's got to be into
the lady boy stuff happening. Okay,
but but I'm definitely think it takes two to tango in that regard, right? So women are going to choose you. You're not choosing women, so.
That's facts.
These women have chose to be with me, and I've, of course, think that I've chose to be with them, but that's not really the case, right? That's all lies.
Wow.
They've made me think that, though, so that's good.
Oh, I see. They're like, they bewitched you with their gypsy spell.
Of course. Isn't that what you do, Taylor? Tell us how you do it.
I use a little thing called wit and charm. You'll learn about it one day, Joe.
Okay.
I don't know if 21-year-olds have mastered that yet, but anyways.
And then the wit is hopefully coming soon.
Oh, geez. Well, the reason that I ask if you get judged, and this kind of goes into the whole thing with Belichick and everyone, like you said, you think they're getting dragged, thrown under the bus. I think there's a lot of gray stuff we don't know, but I do think it's fascinating. But I have another set of stats that's going to make you literally just come in your pants. Brigitte Macron may or may not on any given day.
All right.
So in 2023, there was a YouGov poll. And this is how, take this as you will, because I feel like people on the whole in this country are not super accepting. We've talked about before, super puritanical, conservative in the box, whatever.
Yeah,
vanilla.
for sure.
So
100%.
So this is 2023. So 68% of Americans accepted a 5-year gap. Now, when you go to 10-year gap, that decreased to 39% acceptance.
Wow.
And then when you go to 20 plus years, so you and
Wait, tell me. Yeah.
that is only 20%. So only 1 in 5 Americans would accept our situations, right?
All right. So how is this fair? Okay, but hold on. Is this an age gap male, female, like both ways?
I think
is this the older male, younger female?
I think for the most part, yes.
All right, well, that's what pisses everyone. If you want to piss off a 40-year-old woman, bring a 20-year-old
That's what I'm
woman
saying.
to dinner. If you want to piss a 40-year-old, and you're going to piss that woman off every time. Now, I don't want to do that, but I certainly want to take a date out, you know, and who has something to say, obviously, who's not just, you know, an idiot. Like, I wouldn't date those people either. But I mean, those are real stats.
The verse is much rarer, right? Like a younger guy with a
you may be too
everything
young. Hold on. Do you remember this? Cher dated when Cher was 40. You know, Cher is obviously when Cher was 40.
Newsflash, I'm not 21 like your girlfriends. Yes, I know who Cher is.
Okay. Do you remember Bagel Boy? Remember this? Okay. So when Cher was 40 years old, she dated a 22-year-old, right? And she met him in a bagel store, and they called him Bagel Boy, right? His name was Rob Camilletti. Rob was a pilot of mine for many, many, many years. He was 22 years old. She was 40, and she saw him making bagels in a bagel store in New York and fell in love. But that was his whole life after that. I mean, he hated it because, like, he was pigeonholed as Cher's like younger, you know, boy, but they were really into each other. And I think, like, it says that. And by the way, this guy was a great guy, fantastic pilot. I mean, he was on my Gulfstream jet team. He was on my Falcon team, pilots. So, I mean, I had 5 full-time pilots, and he was one of them. So obviously, you know, in that circle of people. So I got to hear all the stories, but that's the reverse of what.
Or like Demi and Ashton. But either way, Joe, with Bagel Boy, with Demi and Ashton, with the, you know, older man, younger woman, because it is a little bit unorthodox, people are always wondering, like, is there a motive? What's the hidden kind of thing here? So that's why it brings us right back to what is going on with Bill Belichick and Jordan. Here's why. And I really want to unpack this and see, like, get to the bottom of this case study. Like, is 72-year-old Billy Boy just pussy whipped? Is there something to be said? Basically, shit hit the fan and it all went sideways because he was being interviewed, Joe, on my personal, you talk about the geriatrics, my favorite show, CBS Sunday mornings. Okay.
Is that really your favorite show? You're joking.
Yes. No, it brings me the only morsel of peace in this world.
Wait,
okay.
Do you watch 60 Minutes then? Like,
no, I draw the line. I draw the line at 60 minutes. Okay, so I have some standards in my life. Okay. And so he was being interviewed, and his girlfriend.
When you see the commercials, and they're all geriatric commercials for like adult diapers and those types of things, stop watching, because it means that those are the people that are watching according to their demographic data, and you don't want to be one of those people.
Joe, I just have refined taste. I'm just an old soul, you know, hence, you know, my taste in men.
All right, we'll get to that later.
Yeah. And so, all right, so he's being interviewed, and they have a great 35-minute interview, whatever it is. The girlfriend is in the background, and it gets caught on camera that she interrupts and intervenes in a rather sort of brash way because they're asking him about how they met.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
And so this became a whole thing, okay? He defended her, saying she acted as like sort of a pseudo publicist. This wasn't what we talked about prior. We were supposed to talk about my book coming out. Meanwhile, so this has gotten a whole bunch of backlash going, did she overstep? What is her place? Meanwhile, his own daughter-in-law, his son's daughter, came out and threw the girlfriend under the bus, being like, this isn't how publicists act, da-da-da-da-da. And so now there are all these
Wait,
little
the daughter-in-law
chunks.
threw her under the bus? Sorry, I didn't
Yes,
catch
Bill
that.
Belichick's daughter-in-law threw her under the bus, the girlfriend, for how she acted. Meanwhile, Bill has defended the girlfriend this whole time. But it gets even a little crazier because basically, not to get into everyone, but now it's coming out how she's put his hands allegedly into everything that he's done, like asserting herself in a big Dunkin' Donuts ad that she did. There's a big UNC debate debacle that we don't have to get into, where he's been hired. He's the highest paid public employee in North Carolina for UNC, $10 million a year.
$10 million a year
And
working
so
for where my father went to
the
school.
doctor's coach.
My late father,
Okay.
University of North Carolina. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry,
And
no.
so there's record of him going CC Jordan on correspondence, on emails. So it came out she was banned from UNC premises. Now they're saying they didn't do it, but I think basically it's leading to like she overstepped and it was too much. And then to really take it to the next level, she allegedly has invested in $8 million in real estate in the last, couple months. I think they started dating a year ago, in New England. So all of that to
I think in fairness, they met like in 2021. So 4 years ago, right? That's fair?
I thought you're the mathematician. You tell me.
I'm just saying, I don't know the date. They met on a plane.
Times the square root of no.
I mean, well, she showed her signed like high school graduation book. I don't know, or whatever. When she was like, she was 20, right? So now she's 24.
She's
so
exactly. So it does all make you think. It does
he's
all
72,
make you think.
so I don't know. Like anywhere you cut us, you can't make the math like you can't make it smaller.
That discrepancy.
But we can pull. I mean, it's not like he looks like Tom Brady either, But let's.
No one does, baby.
Right?
No one does.
Poor guy. Yeah, I know.
So he's defended her, Joe, and has said, basically, I want her to be a part in all this. And it makes you wonder, is she overstepping and asserting herself? Is he pussy whipped? Does he knowingly want her to be like ride or die in business with him?
Yeah,
it does
Taylor,
make one thing.
Why? Okay, let me ask you a question. Why, when a young woman, speaks up, does the whole world jump in to immediately assassinate her? She is young. Okay. So what if, who gives a shit if she's ambitious? There's nothing wrong with ambition. The only people that have problem with ambition are other ambitious women. And there's nothing wrong if they're smart about it. So maybe they have a deal. And it looked like watching that interview, and I watched it 3 times just to see what I was like from that perspective. It looks like she is managing his operations. She is managing his stuff. She is, by the way, I doubt she's stealing from him because he's got plenty of people around him to protect from that. But if she's 24 years old and she was 20 when they met, and she is smart enough to capitalize on his celebrity and still make him more money at the same time, there is nothing wrong with that. What do you think Kris Jenner does with the Kardashians? Like, she's the momager. Like, if you have a trusted person in your life, and who cares how old she is? If she's smart and she has your best interest at heart and your financial interest, and you make a deal with her and she's managing those aspects, I don't think she should be criticized because she spoke up, because you don't know their deal. She probably made a deal with CBS not to talk about that. She had probably rules for the interview and they wanted to fuck her. So they play that clip at the end, which normally they only do that to fuck you, Taylor. Like, I've been fucked so many times by these media pariahs, and it's all about making money. Oh,
right.
Oh, the press are fucking pariahs.
He
it's
even
the news
defended
business.
it.
It's not it's entertainment. It's the news business.
Joe, the way that they framed it, I gotta say,
Taylor, read this quote.
First I will, but it even made a girl like myself think, and this may sound hypocritical, right? I'm in a huge age gap. We're hand in hand in everything business for 10 years from the beginning. So I could see that. But this is where the media there's also the debate of, is she just controlling? What are her motives? Yeah. But this is where the media plays their little games like you're talking about, because I'm not going to lie. When I saw this, I was like, wait, why would she be bent out of shape asking about how they met? Like, I'm not going to lie. The first thing I thought, I was like, is she an escort? Was she like, is that why she's weird about this and doesn't like, want them to know? And then there's the thing of, are they just trying to paint him, the media on the whole, as this like senile geriatric who's being pussy whipped by this 20 something and letting her run his life? Meanwhile,
they're trying to paint both at the same time.
Exactly. And so essentially you said, read his quote. He basically came out after being like, first of all, this wasn't supposed to be talked about in the interview. We had kind of we had discussed what was going to be covered.
Yeah.
But also I have had no problem openly discussing how we met, which to your point, Joe, he says was on a 2021 plane ride, to Palm Beach. Now the details of that, again, I don't really know.
Well,
I think she was a cheerleader at one point, but
hold on. And
she's like, I've never been
signed the cheerleading book, but I've heard no other like alternative theories about how they met. Like, I've heard nobody say anything else. Like, it's not like, it's Macron and you were a boy and then you were a lady, you know what I'm saying?
I love how I got Joe on this bandwagon. It makes me so happy.
It's all just bullshit, right? So it's all just speculation trying to make them look bad because she spoke up, and who cares? You know what? If a 24-year-old girl who's smart and has his best interest at heart in the guys feels that, and she's running her business and his business, and she's made money doing it, hey, she's a smart girl, as long as she's not stealing it from him, which I don't think she is.
She's just capitalizing on the moment as a smart businesswoman.
What do you think Kate, the royal princess who's going to be queen of England, one day, what do you think she does? What do you think?
Opportunistic.
Megan's opportunistic. Megan is an example of total opportunistic because she doesn't like the guy at all. You can just tell. I mean,
I don't think she likes anything. She's just literally a robot.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't.
How could a black girl possibly like a redheaded, pale, pasty white man? I mean,
I don't get that.
Yeah,
no.
But this is
I'm
where
sorry.
Joe,
I'm sorry to all redheads.
This is where he's like, no redheads were harmed in the making of this episode. But this is where the media
genetic disorder, though. You're not allowed to make fun of redheads because I'll tell you, it actually is. If you Google this, Taylor, fun fact. It actually really is a genetic disorder to be redheaded. So let's just.
Good to know.
Yeah, we're not going to we're undressed. We're very PC on undressed, everybody. And we don't want to cross
disorder, huh? So are you just a redhead who dyes her hair or what?
Yep.
Explain that.
Yep.
That's now it's all sort of coming into focus. Now it's all making sense.
Can't tell. Okay.
But this is where the media plays their game because Bill Belichick came out after and said, again, like, we had a great 35-minute interview. This was the last, 8 minutes? And that's what they blow out of proportion. And it's like his word versus theirs, because they're saying we basically went into it with an agreement that anything was fair game. We didn't suss out, any topics prior. So, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what it looked like to me is what I said, and I'm not going to repeat it, but she is obviously in control of a lot of things because she was able to amass $8 million in real estate for herself over the past, how many, 1 or 2 years? I don't remember the statistic you said.
I think in the last, so they've been dating officially for a year. And I think it said in the last couple months of that time. So, and it's all throughout New England and either way. So yeah, she's making moves. Let's just say that. She's making moves.
And good for her. I mean, if she's able to capitalize on his celebrity with his consent, and also she's sitting, right seat, we would call it, as a pilot next to the as a co-pilot, right seat, flying a plane, and helping him with his business and his interviews, like a publicist. Like, I don't see every time a woman speaks up, and the younger she is, the more criticized she is. And that is not fair. And that is by other women. I see it more loudly, and good for her. She's 20.
I don't know about that, Joe. I've seen a lot of guys dragging her. I've seen a lot of guys on the internet dragging her because, guys hate the controlling girlfriend.
Yeah, but they think the football, the sports.
You're like, those are Patriots fans.
Yeah, those are those are football fans.
Held on
Forget about those guys. Anyway. The players don't even like their fans, but we'll talk about that on another episode. But a lot of my friends play professional football. That's a different crowd. Now we're talking about mainstream. We're talking about the mainstream media right now, Taylor. This is happening in the mainstream media. Like, we're not even talking about the fringe football. Of course, those hater.
Football.
Well, but I'm just saying that's his whole. Of course, those people are going to hate any woman that tells any guy what to do, especially a coach. This guy is Bill Belichick. He is used to yelling and screaming.
No, you don't mess
Yelling
with
and
scary.
screaming at 6'11", 400-pound black guys.
That's
who
true.
Could beat the living shit out of him
No,
at any moment and kill him. Do you think in their faces, spitting in their faces?
Oh,
okay?
I know. He will instill the fear of God in you. And you know, I hail from New England. You know, I'm a Pats fan through and through. So
and there's
you ain't
nothing
messing
wrong
with
with
Billy
that.
Boy. You ain't messing with Billy Boy.
But this guy, I've seen the footage of this guy doing this.
The footage. That's actually a really good point. Like, again, and they're trying to
That guy
paint
could
him as
kill him.
something like, again, this doormat, like I said, senile old man who she has him by the balls. Okay,
I don't see a 24-year-old woman coming in and taking that guy.
That's fair. That's a good point.
Telling him.
That's a good point.
I mean,
That's a
any
good
one
point.
of those 6 foot.
But also those 6 foot black dudes aren't serving up the pussy like she is.
Calling him a fucking moron. Like, you know what I'm
Joe,
saying? Like,
those
guy.
6'5" black dudes aren't serving up the pussy like she, unless that's just some really grade A.
Those guys are
puss that has big ribs.
400-pound linemen.
I'm just saying.
They could kill him. Any one of them. And he's
right.
calling them names.
No,
that are
that's
like,
a really good point.
And
So
Jordan,
listen,
what's going to come along with some magic vagina? And
That's
then
a-
he loses all everything.
that's a really good point. Well, listen,
Like, who?
I have
Lucky
been.
Charms, everybody.
I have
Jordan's
been-
vagina.
You're like, by the Count Chocula's red that he is sponsored on the field. Okay, that was like a black joke that did not hit. Anyways,
No, but
So-
the media's done this to me on everything. So
no,
many
we
times.
both have been on the brunt of this. Listen,
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you my Morgan Freeman story. So this is like
No.
how Bill Belichick's personal persona is skewed.
I had no idea you.
I
dated
was
Morgan
on the
Freeman.
brunt of one
This
where
is the
Morgan, they
first
were
time I've
trying to
heard.
drag. I had an interaction with Morgan Freeman, and they were trying to say things skew his demeanor and perception publicly because of my thing with him. So listen to this.
Wait, what was your thing? I don't even know.
So I'm about to tell you. So I was a fresh young reporter in Hollywood.
Perfect.
And I was wearing, like, as I do, sexy little outfit, pink shirt, ripped up jeans. And that's back in the day when they did celebrity roundtables
Well, did you hook up
interviews,
with him?
right? So Joe's like,
Did
so
you
you
hook up with
blew,
Morgan
he's like, so
Freeman?
you blew Morgan Freeman under the
Wait,
table
you
in front of
blew
the other
Morgan Freeman?
reporters. You're getting ahead of
love
the
it.
story here. You're getting,
No,
see,
you didn't.
actually even better.
Well,
It's
I
actually
gotta
even
get.
better.
I gotta get through this because unless you
It's
blew him-
actually even better. All right,
Okay,
so
better. Then
yeah, I
go.
would say so.
Okay,
So
get to
we're
the-
in a roundtable interview,
Gets-
which is like,
sorry, I'm a man. Gets the act.
I see. Yes, he's coming prematurely to this ending. Okay, well,
Oh,
ladies, we're so
prematurely?
foreign. We're so
No.
unused to that. So, anyways,
It's a Morgan Freeman story. Come on.
it's a Morgan Freeman story. So I'm sitting next to him. It's like a baby.
It's not Brad Pitt. Let's go.
It's like a baby. It's like a
Hurry
baby.
up.
Oh my god, that one.
No
would-
one's
doesn't
turned
matter.
on at home. So let's just hurry it up.
Well, they're certainly not because you keep barreling through it and they're listening to your ass. All right, let me redeem this, okay?
Does anyone here want to hear?
Basically, I'm sitting next to him in a room of reporters. Okay. Joe's like typing this up. He's like, so you gang banged Morgan Freeman with Brad Pitt on the set of whatever, Bruce Almighty. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. It's like they used to do these things. It's like a baby press conference, right? It's called a round table. You sit with other reporters. Sure enough, I'm fresh on the scene in my little outfit, young, excited. Morgan Freeman comes and sits right next to me. And he makes a comment about my outfit, namely about my jeans, because I'm wearing these ripped up Abercrombie jeans. And he's like, those are, that's interesting. They're placed, strategically, not at all in a creepy way. We have like a really fun, like jest and rip. It would almost be like how one of my grandparents would, like, what's going on with your pants? Like half of them is missing, so we have fun with it and it's not at all weird. And he's sort of like a hippie in that way anyway. So it was really fun. At the end, I get it on camera and I say, Morgan, is there something that you want to say about my pants? And he looks down at them and looks at me and he's like, wear them, baby. And we high five and the whole room just like erupts in laughter, right? So cut to Joe. A couple years later, he was coming under fire for Me Too allegations. So The Blast, which is sort of like a TMZ,
I know,
ran a story
Yeah.
about me and what happened. And it said, Morgan Freeman objectifies female reporter in an interview and basically painted it as if I was some Me Too victim and as if Morgan Freeman was harassing me. So you know what my ass did?
Yep.
I wrote my own op-ed and rebuttal in Playboy, standing up for myself and for him, frankly, and saying he joked about my outfit. I took no issue with it. This is everything that's wrong with Me Too.
And good for Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I said this is normal, like, interaction. It doesn't do any service to real
banter.
Exactly,
right?
and it doesn't do any service to real victims. So, so needless to say,
It
you know,
only prevents
I've
real
been in
victims from coming forward.
exactly, and again, stigmatizes like you or sterilizes. I'm sorry, it's like you can't even have normal, like, fun men-women interaction, right? So
nothing.
So I understand being in it and how they tried to paint me, tried to paint him, who's a huge public figure. So it definitely gives me a different lens into this whole thing. And I know, I mean, let me count the ways in which the media has painted you, Joe. I mean, how much? It's too bad we're wrapping here because how much time do we have? But countless times, right?
I know. I mean, look. We will spread it out over every episode because the media has obviously painted me in so many different ways, and people think even things like my lovely beautiful co-host Taylor, she'll often think things, and I'll say things that she's heard and read in the media, and I'll be like, that's not true. I'm like, did I tell you that? She's like, no, and you will always be like, oh my God, well, I just saw it on some show or something like that. But it's like people just make up shit. Like, people don't realize this. The news is how much can you push it until you can get sued, and then that's the line. Understand it. It's not what's the truth. It's how much can we, and public figures, there's such a threshold. If I want to sue somebody, there has to be damage. There has to be verifiable damage into my finances. I have to show all of my taxes, all of my records, everything. There have to be, like, if you sue in the state of California, they can file a slap motion, which is a constitutional protection. So it is impossible for celebrities to defend themselves. So all of this bullshit about me, all of these lies stay out there. So it's very interesting. And we work together and we spend, so much time together on the, and it's like, you'll spit out shit and I'll be like, wait, what are you,
even as of late, guys,
talking about?
Well, I recently said to you, I said, are you exiled from the United States? Will you be arrested upon arrival? Like, are you allowed to stuff like that, to your point?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, I'm a U.S. citizen. I can come back to the United States whenever I want, and whenever I want. And I travel freely throughout the world, like, as a United States citizen. And I'm like, I have not relinquished my citizenship. And yes, any United States citizenship can come, but the citizen can come back. But I'm just saying, it's like, just because, like, you go away, one reporter says it, then they just start making bullshit. And obviously CBS, like in the case of Bill Belichick, let me bring it back to this because I really want to take it back to this, unfairly has portrayed this Jordan girl, because you don't know their deal. You don't know what she's doing for him. And obviously he is a very strong character. Like, he's still yelling at big 400-pound black men on a daily basis. Okay. That's his job.
Fun,
and getting paid not for fun. He's getting paid $10 million a year for it, which is not why he does it though, Taylor. It's not why. We both know that, right? You're a Patriots fan. I'm not, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Everybody has their teams. Some
of us are just superior.
Yeah, I mean, you guys won too many times for me to like you. That's sorry. So that's, and the guy's a genius guy. So why can't she respect that? And why can't she, and I don't even want to use the words open her mouth because, oh, God forbid, a 24-year-old should have an opinion and, be in charge of something, Yeah.
I was going to wrap this up, Joe, and ask two things. One, does this relationship make sense? And two, is he pussy whipped? And I think my big takeaway from all of this, and I always and I feel like we on Undress here always have this mindset, which is just sort of like live and let live. If people are bent out of shape, how does it personally affect you? I mean, it is interesting. I think I like how it peels back all of the layers of age gap, of publicity, of control, of man and women roles in relationships. But I think it's important to also discern. It's like, this isn't elder abuse. That would be case in point, Joe Biden being in office for 4 years.
That
and
was
being
elder
pushed
abuse
us
to
as
330 million, 340 million Americans. That was elder abuse. That was abuse to a country, to a whole country having a dead president.
Exactly. I want my, yeah, exactly. I want my payback, reparations, whatever it is, for that.
I know.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. We're pro-Trump at Undress.
For that, you know, geez. For that
we're very liberal. We're very liberal.
But anyway, yeah, we're breaking everybody's minds because they're like, wait, they're conservative, but do this and live like this and do that. And just that's, you know, what we bring to you all. You know, we're trying to test you and push your boundaries in your minds as well. So with that, we will wrap here. I will go off to my, you know, however-year-old boyfriend. You will go off to your 20-something girlfriend, and we'll
correct 21.
Right into the sun. Now, finally, in the 11th hour.
Years old.
He's like, I was hoping we wrap by that. Okay, 21.
She's adorable, and she's really smart too. So, but we'll talk about that in another episode.
There you go. Brings it all together. Brings it all together.
But I just want to be clear to our audience, because like credibility with everyone, every single person I deal with in my relationships, in my business, on the air, our fans, our listeners, our viewers, like, I just want to make sure that we're, you know, full disclosure, my own personal situation, and you read stats that support that, do not affect my views on Bill Belichick. And I don't think yours do either. You know, like, we're not just saying that because we're both in relationships like that. Right, Taylor? I mean,
we kind of have a personal bias. So I'm like, not what he said. But
we're biased.
But with that,
all right, everybody. On that note.
Exactly. On that note, I'll say this, Joe. At least you know, and the viewers know, that we have nothing to hide. We will own our biases. We will own our lifestyles. And like I said, we want to push everybody to think outside the limits of their box as well, as Billy Boy may be doing here. You know what?
Exactly.
It's working out for him.
And thank you, everybody, for listening and to watching this week's Undressed. Please subscribe, like, view, forward this to a friend. Both Taylor and I really have appreciated it, and we will see you here next week.
To that, I will say what he said.
Bye.